Hey, future doctors, I'm Dr. Ben, a practicing physician, medical school admissions interviewer, and coach who's helped hundreds of students and physicians navigate the complex journey from applying to medical school to thriving as a physician. If you're considering applying to medical school, you're not going to want to miss this video because today I'm tackling something I'm passionate about. The 3 biggest lies in medical school admissions that might be holding you back. First, let's start with a little context. Last year, over 55,000 hopeful applicants competed for roughly 22,000 seats at U.S. medical schools. That's an acceptance rate of about 40%. But the reality is even more competitive at top-tier institutions, where acceptance rates are below 3%. With stakes this high, misinformation can be devastating to your chances. As someone who's been on both sides of the admissions desk, I've watched talented applicants sabotage themselves by believing lies that simply aren't true. The first, and perhaps most pervasive lie, is that your GPA determines everything. I've had students come to me in tears because they got a B+ in organic chemistry, convinced their medical career was over before it even began. But here's the truth. Academic metrics matter, but they're far from the whole story. Would it surprise you to learn that 32% of applicants with GPAs of 3.9 or higher get rejected each application cycle? Meanwhile, 21% of applicants with GPAs between 3.5 and 3.7 receive acceptance letters. When I review applications as part of admissions committees, we look for what I call demonstrated commitment, which is evidence that you understand what medicine truly involves and you know what you're getting into, and you've taken meaningful steps to prepare for a career in medicine. Let me just share a quick story. 2 years ago, I interviewed 2 applicants on the same day. The first had a perfect 4.0 GPA, but couldn't articulate why they wanted to be a physician, but beyond I've always been good at science and I want to help people. The second had a 3.6 GPA, but had spent 3 years working as a medical scribe in an underserved community, could speak thoughtfully about healthcare disparities, and had clear ideas about how they wanted to address them as a physician. Guess which one received an acceptance letter? The 3.6 GPA student is now in their second year of medical school, and they are doing awesome. Now, don't misunderstand me. Academics are important, and you need to focus on them. Medical school is, after all, intellectually demanding, and admissions committees need to know that you can handle the rigorous curriculum. But once you've demonstrated academic competency, generally with a GPA above 3.5 and an MCAT above the 50th percentile for your target schools, other factors become increasingly important. My advice? Focus on excellence in your courses, but don't let the pursuit of perfect grades prevent you from developing the other qualities that make a compelling medical school candidate. The second big lie is that extracurriculars are just checkboxes. I often hear students say things like, I just need to get some volunteer hours and research experience, right? This checkbox mentality is exactly what admissions committees are trained to spot and reject. According to a 2021 survey of medical school admissions officers, 87% said that they value depth of experience over breadth. And 92% indicated that a candidate's ability to reflect meaningfully on their experiences was very important or essential. Let me explain the difference a little bit. A checkbox approach looks like, I volunteered at a hospital for 50 hours, shadowed 3 doctors for a total of 30 hours, and participated in a summer research program. Now, on the surface, that doesn't sound so bad. But compared to someone with meaningful engagement, whose story sounds a little bit like this. During my 2 years volunteering in the emergency department, I noticed that elderly patients often struggled with discharge instructions. This observation led me to create simplified instruction sheets in multiple languages, which the hospital still uses. This experience taught me the importance of clear communication and patient advocacy, skills that I will later apply in my career. See the difference? The second approach demonstrates initiative, problem solving, and personal growth, all qualities that are essential for thriving in medicine. In my experience, both as an admissions interviewer and as a coach, I found that really 3 to 5 meaningful, engaging experiences with substantial time commitment and demonstrable growth are far more valuable than 10 superficial activities. When I work with pre-med students through the Developing Doctor, I always emphasize finding activities that genuinely interest you. That's better than looking for ways to make a meaningful impact in those spaces. Your passion will shine through and in your application and your interviews by focusing on those meaningful activities. Line number 3, which is probably the most insidious, is the belief that you need to present yourself as having everything figured out. Everyone on the admissions committee is aware that most medical school applicants are so early in their life. You're in your early 20s. You haven't had as many life experiences as the people on the other side of the table. But many applicants think they need to project absolute certainty about their specialty, their career path, every aspect of medicine and every aspect of their lives. This really couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, according to AAMC data, about 75% of medical students change their specialty preference during medical school. Admissions committees know this, and they're actually a little bit suspicious of applicants who seem too rigid in their plans. What admissions committees are actually looking for is intellectual curiosity and adaptability. They want students who can acknowledge the limits of their knowledge and their experiences and demonstrate a general desire to learn and grow through the new experiences that are ahead of them. During interviews, I'm always way more impressed by candidates that can say, I don't know, or have answers that are something like, based on my experiences so far, I'm drawn to primary care because I value long-term patient relationships. But I'm really excited to explore all the specialties that I've never seen before during rotations and discover where I can make the greatest impact and what's the best fit. An answer like that shows maturity and self-awareness far more than declaring, I've always wanted to be a neurosurgeon since I was 5 and that's the only thing I'm going to do. Medicine is a field of continuous learning. The best physicians I know, the ones I want treating my own family, are those that remain curious and open to new information throughout those careers. So when I'm evaluating applications, I look for evidence that a candidate embraces this growth mindset. Have they sought out diverse clinical experiences? Do they reflect thoughtfully on what they've learned? And can they discuss both strengths and areas for growth in the future? In my years of coaching, I've helped many students transform their applications from embracing authentic uncertainty rather than projecting false confidence. Admissions committees can tell the difference. So, if these 3 common beliefs are lies, what's the truth about successful medical school applications? In my experience, it comes down to consistency, honesty, and cohesion. The most compelling applications I've reviewed tell a coherent story about who the applicant is, why they're drawn to medicine, and what unique perspectives they'll bring to the profession. The story is supported by their academic performance, their extracurricular activities, their personal statement, interviews, and letter of reference. All elements that work in harmony that tell the same story. I often tell students and coaching clients that I work with that the secret to medical school admission isn't about perfection. It's about consistently showing up and being yourself. Showing up for your classes, for your clinical experiences, for your research projects, and for your communities. This consistent commitment speaks volumes about how you show up for your medical education and for your patients. Research from the AAMC suggests that admissions committees are increasingly using holistic review processes that evaluate candidates across multiple domains. A 2022 study found that 91% of medical schools now use some form of holistic review, which means that lie number 1, the GPA is the most important thing, is a lie. They look beyond numbers to assess applicants' potential contributions to medicine. As someone who's been involved in this process for years, I can tell you that what ultimately makes an application stand out is authenticity. Be yourself. Medicine needs diverse perspectives and approaches. Your unique experiences and viewpoints aren't liabilities to be hidden, they're assets to be highlighted. When I founded The Developing Doctor, my mission was to help future and practicing physicians achieve their dream of practicing medicine by helping them navigate this complex process while staying true to themselves. Too many talented potential physicians get disrailed by misinformation or feel pressured to conform to an imagined perfect applicant template. So let me leave you with this. The path to medical school isn't about perfection, it's about growth, commitment, and authenticity. Your GPA matters, but it's not everything. Your extracurriculars should be meaningful, not just checkboxes. And you don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to ask good questions and be open to learning. If you take nothing else from this video, remember that medical schools are looking for future colleagues, real people who will bring compassion, curiosity, and commitment to this incredible profession. Focus on becoming that person, and the application takes care of itself. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Dr. Ben from The Developing Doctor, and I believe in your potential to make a difference in medicine. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe for more evidence-based advice on your medical school journey. And until next time, keep developing into the doctor that you're meant to be.